How y'all doing out there, Diesel War Reaction? It's your boy Juan Diesel, and I'm back with another video. This one's called Chicago Mafia versus New York Mafia, explained by Frank Collado. With that being said, folks, let's get into the video. Don't forget to subscribe.
So, Frank, you hear a lot of different stories about all these mob families, New York, Chicago, all these different outfits. What was the biggest difference culturally with Chicago mob family versus the ones in New York?
I don't know how to answer that question, to be truthful with you. We're a bunch of Italian people, if that's what you're looking for. And we stuck together. We had values, principles we lived by, and we had one boss. We didn't answer directly to the boss. We had several underbosses that we answered to. He was far in the distance, but we knew where the messages were coming from.
So you think, so that's one of the things I wanted to touch up on. So New York had five bosses when Lucky kind of divided everybody up and everybody went through the five bosses and then they would kind of work together. Chicago was under one boss. What do you think was the difference and the benefit of having one versus having five?
One boss, one leader, let's say, it's not as confusing for sure. When you got five different families out there, like New York had, you run into problems. Everybody's got different things, different territories. In Chicago, there's one boss. You knew what he wanted. He had different made men around him. They were called made men. And these guys had territories. So if you worked for one of these made men, you knew that he was getting the orders from the underboss of the head guy. At that time was Paul Rica.
Mm-hmm.
He was the boss in Chicago from 1962 to 1972. They called him Paul the Waiter Rica. Accardo went into retirement. But as soon as Rica went back to jail, or died, then Accardo takes over temporarily. And then he puts somebody else to control things. And at that time, they used a guy by the name of Jack Cerrone. And then when Jack went to jail, he could go on and on. Then they used Joey Aiupa, another boss. And Joey Aiupa goes all the way back to Al Capone.
Isn't Joey also the one that ended up putting the hit on Spilatra because he was too concerned about what's taking place here in Chicago, here in Vegas?
Joey Aiupa was in penitentiary at the time for the Las Vegas skim. If he was out, Tony would have probably never got murdered. The guy that put the hit on Tony Spilatra and his brother Michael was named Joe Ferriola. We used to call him Joe Nagold.
Why do they say Joey Aiupa did? A lot of articles talk about the fact that Joey put the hit.
Joey Aiupa was in jail. He was very close to Tony. Very close to Tony. And that's one of the reasons Tony became the guy he was, because of Joey Aiupa. The only thing I believe that Joey Aiupa was thinking about at that time was getting out of jail.